You want to tell me if you think this is funny or not? Have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
Watch this. Watch.
Oh, fuck. Play it again?
Oh, man, look.
Dude. His foot got caught on something,
Just think the spinal injuries. Look at that. Oh.
You don't want to know what it was, too? Is that he'd go back all the way to the beginning?
Let's see. Look at this.
Oh. Oh, shit. Dude. Fuck. He probably got water up his nose, dude. He can't breathe.
Dude is dead. Internal bleeding, dude. Damage to the
like
liver.
The game, remember the game where it shows us where you'd get hurt and your
the
spine would
combat.
Yeah, and it show your spine break.
That's how fucking Bane broke Batman's back.
Damn, dude, yeah, pretty much.
Look at that.
Kind of hard to party hard after that.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fourth Generation Podcast. I'm joined here with the man of the hour, my brother, Andrew.
What's
up, dude?
up? Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Good.
Good? You ready to get going?
Yeah.
Have you been keeping an eye at all of what's been happening in the news with Congress and these hearings about the UAPs?
No, not really. Not really since the first time they remember when they said they were going to do they were going to come out and really like talk about it. And
yeah.
The government was going to
like supposedly where they're going to release a bunch of files
the evidence and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's when I was waiting for. I think it happened like last summer around this time, around like July.
Yeah,
around this time.
So around this time last year. So it was like in the summer. That's when they was in 2020 when they had originally released all those. Remember those footage of the fighter jets as outside the coast of California with the Tic Tacs. Remember that being the most famous one is the one that was outside the coast in San Diego.
Yeah,
you remember that one? Mm-hmm. So that one was the big one, and it was just. I mean, you can even. We'll take a look at it right here. And it's this one. I mean, this article was by Politico, and it says the UFO briefing on Capitol Hill have begun. Lawmakers aren't impressed. What do you think about that, man?
I mean, well, like I was getting back to my first point was when I was I started paying attention to it when they first came out with all this crap. You know, that they were gonna come out with the aliens and. You know, everybody was like on their heels a little bit, kind of like, okay, well, we're going to wait for it, and it's going to be a big old revelation, and we're going to find out the truth.
Right.
And then the fucking thing came out, and it was nothing.
Just
it was
nothing,
just
right?
like, well, yeah. we kind of believe that there's, you know, existence of alien life, but then we kind of don't know. It's just up to speculation still.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty much all we know about it. So it's just kind of like, well, you know, that's kind of everybody I feel like everybody just stop paying attention to it so much after that.
But what's crazy for me that there's now people in Congress, like there's like legit elected officials, congressmen and senators who are actually now pushing for more information. So that's what I was like kind of watching all this stuff that's going on Capitol Hill right now, right? They're having these hearings. They're trying to go through all these incidents that the Pentagon released. I think it was the Pentagon had released over incidents. I think it was like 11,000 incidents that they had investigated, but about only 400 of those incidents were actually taken like serious, like they actually had substantial evidence. And so one of those was the one outside of California. It was like in 2015, Commander Favor. He was the one that caught it on it. But it was just like, I mean, you listen to the video. I mean, I can't play it because of the copyright stuff. But you listen to the video and you're like, they're genuinely concerned and stuff, right? And so that's what I was like watching what was going on, and then I kind of started thinking. I was like, why all of a sudden, right? Why are they pressing? Especially now, like a time we're kind of like in a Cold War with China a little bit, and then now like the stuff going on with Russia. You get what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's kind of weird that all of a sudden that these things would pop up. And from this article from Politico, this was published last Tuesday. It was the 17th.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this quote that goes, the Pentagon office is supposed to develop an intelligent collection and analysis plan to gain as much knowledge as possible regarding the technical and operational characteristics, origins, and intention of unidentified aerial phenomenon. And that's the UAP. And so
some big words.
So there are a lot of big words. I'm going to take them as offense.
I'm going to take them as offense and say,
and so
I'm not stupid. Okay.
Yeah. So what they're trying to pretty much do is that Congress, even Biden. So Biden has signed a bill into law that required an annual report and semi-annual briefing for Congress, including the descriptions of all UAPs. So this is a new bill and the new law that Biden has went ahead and put through to where now it's going to allow more investigation into these aerial phenomenons, right? So it's pretty much the Pentagon going out and saying like, hey, dude, we don't know what these things are either.
Yeah.
Right. And then like there's a lot of speculation, of course, with the advanced technology that supposedly it's another like country doing that such advanced technology that we don't know of. Is there some like fucking Tony Stark, like an Iron Man dude just fucking flying out there with anti-gravity? Elon Musk.
Dude,
you
never know.
You never fucking know.
You never know.
And so I started thinking, man, it's just okay. I was like, this is where I start to get fucking weird. And I was kind of okay. Now they're starting to push more intelligence, right? They're starting to push more surveillance, supposedly they're trying to catch the aliens, right?
Supposedly,
yeah. Because all these hearings in Congress, there's a lot of one of the senators or one of the congressmen, what's his name? Coniskin. He's a Wisconsin representative. He's a Republican representative for them. He's damn it, I forgot his name.
Yeah,
but he's pressing for a lot of this. And some of their questions, they're not even ruling out aliens altogether, right? They're like, it could be whatever.
Could be some other country.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's almost like they're pressing this as, okay, it's for the defense of the country, right? So you're going to give up a lot more privacy, or you're going to have a lot less privacy in order for us to be safer, right? And it's almost, and I was kind of going back to almost kind of like the same stuff that happened with the NSA, right? With 9/11, to where now like, okay, now you're giving up your rights, the Patriot Act. Yeah. You're gonna give up your privacy in order to combat terrorism.
Yeah.
And then I started even going further back, because you remember in the 60s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was this, which it was a conspiracy at the time, it was no longer a conspiracy, but the CIA had this Operation Northwood. Right? Is it Operation Northwood? Yeah. Operation Northwood. So what it was a plan by the CIA to plan a series of terrorist attacks in Miami and Florida and blame it on the Cubans in order to spark a war with the Cubans. And JFK had gotten a whiff of this and just shut it down. So now, there's speculation that goes now to, well, who really killed JFK, John F. Kennedy, right? Yeah. And I was like, man, like, no wonder, like, going through all this, like, it's almost like the CIA, the Pentagon, like, they work together to pretty much put things into place. That's why I was like, I honestly think the CIA is a lot more powerful than people really know, right? Because I mean, they have so much of an influence, especially in like Latin America, where they legit like overthrew governments. Like they legit like overthrew like Guatemala's government. Like it's proven fact. Yeah, they did some infiltrating in Nicaragua, like and then they tried to do it in Cuba, but they failed. Remember the Bay of Pigs invasion and how that went south. And then, well, of course, the Operation Northwoods, where they tried to plan terrorist attacks and blame it on Cuba to try to get a war with Cuba. Yeah. And then even the Vietnam War, how that started, the Gulf of Tonkin incident. Remember, supposedly one of the U.S. naval ships was out patrolling out in the Gulf of Tonkin outside of Vietnam, and then they got attacked. Yeah. And then that's what sparked Congress. Okay, it's time to go to war. And then it later came out that never happened. Mm-hmm. So now I'm thinking, I was like, is the CIA or is the government, the Pentagon, because there's a lot of congressmen, a lot of the higher ups that they have no idea what's going on. Yeah. Is the CIA kind of just planting information onto the internet, like they're making stuff up in order for them to have a little bit more control, a little bit more quote unquote surveillance. You know, especially now with the war with Russia and Ukraine. You know, and Russia has those nuclear weapons. Because things are starting to get scary. Like there was another one. This one was crazy. Now there was also an incident outside Montana. Do you remember that one?
No, I don't remember that one.
This happened actually, I think, a couple years ago. So the Pentagon officials claim that glowing red orbs once shut down a nuclear weapon in Montana. Yeah. That's why I was like, hey,
you know, yeah,
yo, is that real? Like, this is coming from the Pentagon. Are you throwing that shit out there just cause?
Or is it? I mean, obviously, this stuff has national security type of. That's
what it is. Is the Department of Defense is really the ones kind of like pushing for this stuff.
And I think that's just what, especially just as Americans, you know, or just inhabitants of this earth are really starting to be like, okay, now that we know that that we know, you know, but just stuff like that, you kind of want more answers because it is kind of scary if those things are true where a glowing orb can stop a nuclear bomb,
right?
What else can it do? You know, so it's just kind of like now people are starting to get a little more like scared because the government doesn't want to come out and say too much about it either.
Yeah.
And if it's not such a big deal, like you guys say, then just tell us what you know.
Just release it, right?
Yeah,
just tell us what.
I'm not telling, you know, like show us a fucking alien, you know, in the Oval Office.
I want to see whether or not he has a wiener. Show me the alien wiener.
Just him and Biden shaking hands like this. You're like, we're friends. We're friends. But I mean, I'm not saying just hear little bits and pieces because obviously if they released how many videos do you think that NASA has? Also, even SpaceX being able to explore, you know, outside orbit and stuff like that, and then other top-notch security agencies in the country. What else do they have? They just let you see what they want you to see. Yeah, you know, the ball's all in their court. You know, it's a chess game with themselves. That's it.
It's almost like they're trying to push a certain narrative, right?
Yeah, they control the entire narrative. Yeah, you know, you get to the media first, you control the entire narrative. You know.
Now that's what I'm saying. Like with a lot of these conspiracy theories, you know, quote unquote conspiracy theories supposedly coming true, you know, like remember when Alex Jones was right about the shit that they were doing out in the woods, like the Skull and Bones type shit, right? Where they were out there in the woods.
The redwood rituals or something like that,
right?
Yeah,
where they were like
owl.
They were burning stuff in honor of a big old god
like
owl
or some shit.
Yeah, you know, like a bunch of rich people that got together and doing like weird ceremonies,
weird things.
Yeah, and then that shit came out to be true, and everybody thought he was crazy. The stuff with Epstein. Even
nobody even batted an eye when he died.
No, exactly.
Okay,
and they said, okay, he's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and so the information that they're holding back on us, they have to have something because it's clear now that, okay, they were withholding all this information for years. Why didn't they come out? You know, you claim that it's national security,
issues. Yeah.
You know, but then all of a sudden now you're releasing, snippets, right? You're coming out with exactly what you say. They're coming out with exactly what they want to do in order to push a certain narrative, right? And then it feels like you kind of go back and you're just like, man, some of these things that they went on, like we had to give up like certain things, like privacy with the NSA now with Obama listening and on everybody's phone,
phones,
you know,
text
the Patriot
messages,
Act,
whatever it is, you know, they had access to it.
It's like now what are they gonna just start setting up satellite cameras like all over the country just so supposedly quote unquote
catch whatever
defense?
These things are?
Like,
you know,
we're trying to figure out what those UAPs are.
Yeah,
you know, or UPAs
or
what is
UFOs, dude.
UFOs. Let's just stick with the UFOs.
Just
stick with the original
UFOs. Now everybody knows them from, you know, by
UFOs.
It's like a global fucking.
Yeah, well, that's why they.
What
changed
is that
the name.
UFO? You know,
that's why they changed the name, right? Because everybody now is like the UFOs were like, kind of got taken away by like all the weirdos.
Oh,
like it was guys like us now. Like,
sitting here
talking shit about the government. So the aliens don't read our minds, man.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take precaution,
right?
no matter what it is.
Yeah,
and safety first.
And so now, let's go really crazy with it. If it's outside of it being another country, because some argue that technology does exist, right? So guys like Bob Lazar, who's coming out supposedly that he worked on things like that. You remember Bob Lazar, right?
The dude that did Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he did Joe Rogan.
Not did him, but did Joe.
But he was a guy, ex-scientist, physicist who worked at Area 51, and
or like a neighboring
something like that.
Uh-huh.
And then he came out in the 80s, kind of just he took everything out there. He was like, yeah, the government has anti-gravity machines and we're working on it. We have an alien spaceship. I legit worked on it. And then they try to keep him quiet. They try to intimidate him.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people speculate that this guy's full of shit. I'm kind of on the side that this guy might be full of shit to an extent. Maybe there is some truth to what he's saying, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, he's kind of going out of left field.
I think that there is a truth to what he's saying, because we always when we think of scientists or think of UFOs or Area 51 or even top notch security agencies like the CIA, FBI, all those people, or all those agencies, they're still run by people,
right.
People with regular. Not regular lives, because they're exposed to just high level security information 24/7, but they're just regular people that go to the grocery store and get the same groceries you do, have kids, they have dreams, they have, so we need to stop looking at it as like, well, he's kind of full of shit, because who would come out and say that? He's the first person to come out here and say that. But I mean, where do you think they grab these fucking scientists from? You think they grow them in a lab and then they just keep them in the lab and just work there till you die, and then that's it.
I see what you're saying.
They pick these people up. They have, if you're smart like that dude, where you put a jet engine in a fucking Honda, you're gonna get noticed. And well, I mean, some of those people that are working there are just regular fucking people.
Right.
You'll see them in the streets, and if a regular guy came up to you and said, "Oh, I was working on a UFO just the other day." You'd look at him like, what the fuck?
Hey,
get out of here, weirdo. But these people are actually out there. They do exist, and just the government just has such of an intimidation factor. It's the U.S. fucking government. If you come out here and say anything, then we're gonna come after you,
right?
Your family, the dog, the kids. Well, I mean, what I'm saying. So, I mean, I want to say that I lean more towards that. I do believe.
We believe him.
Yeah, because. I mean, at the end of the day, he kind of. Did you hear how they fucking came after him with like, they had wiretapped his phone.
Yeah.
And then they let him know that his wife was having an affair, just because they were listening on every phone call that came in or out of the house. Some of his closest friends that were working at universities or just working every regular day jobs.
They were like giving hush money, right?
No, they were getting like fired.
Oh,
they were getting fired from their jobs. They were getting just people that he knew in his circle just to collapse the fabric of his life.
Yeah.
Like your friends are doing bad, you feel bad, then this guy's doing bad, and then you just kind of your life just starts to unravel. Your wife's having an affair.
Right.
You can't get any credited job because they won't let you. So I mean, he lost a lot. So at the end of the day, what does he have to lose?
Right. And that's my thing. It's like, just going off of that story, it goes to show how much the CIA and the government value intelligence, right? Where they value information.
Yeah.
It's in their fucking name, the Central Intelligence Agency.
Yeah.
So how powerful information is in order to infiltrate somebody and then take them down, like you said, just break down the fabrics of his existence. If they could do it to a fucking country, goddamn well they can do it to a fucking person.
And then they're not so subtle about it, because then it does look suspicious. Like if this guy came out to, like with Jeffrey Epstein, he came out and said all this stuff, got caught, and now he's dead in a prison cell where he's supposed to be surveillance 24 hours a day.
Well, supposedly he was also intelligence. So he was the one getting in with these rich guys. And he was like, okay, taking them to a private jet, taking them to a private island. Okay, then you bring out this beautiful girl who's not of age, and then you make them go to the room and they do stuff, and you record it, and then okay, now I have fucking information on you. He did it to the fucking president, the former president, fucking Bill Clinton. And that's, whether or
Who
not.
else was the who was it? Was it he was hanging out with like an African
Prince? Well, he was hanging out with Prince Andrew. That's
the
monarch from England. Those fucking weirdos. And then he was also with the Victoria's Secret guy, the guy who invented Victoria's Secret, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Their CEO.
So I mean, but that's what I like. Getting back to it. I mean, they're not regular people because they just have fucking money. Money, power. And the capability of getting to things that like regular people like me and you won't have the access to.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they still have the same urges that me and you do,
just like a normal person.
And
they just have different access.
They just didn't have resources. They just have a shit ton of money. They just have those connections. So I think just getting back to the point like with Bob Lazar, like he's just a regular dude. So I don't know. I do believe him and all this other not crazy conspiracies. Like I don't believe in flat Earth or anything like that.
No, we don't want to go that far. You keep that shit to yourself.
But when you hear like little bits and tips of little stuff happening with famous people and stuff like that, like I don't knock it. I'm not like, oh no, there's no way he's too rich for all that shit.
No, they're fucking weirdos.
They're weirdos too. Yeah. There's broke weirdos out here.
Yeah.
So
now could you imagine one of those weirdos had like a shit ton of money?
Yeah, exactly. Just think of the craziest person that and then give him like $10 billion and then watch him just wreak havoc, but also keep shit hush hush.
I know I would do some wild fucking shit if I had money.
I mean,
like shit ton of money, like Epstein money. I'd probably do some wild shit.
Like some crazy stuff. Like I'd buy an island.
I'd probably do that.
But yeah.
Fucking Mike Tyson has a tiger.
Yeah, well, he had tigers.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I heard a story about him that he would like meet a girl at a club and then take her to go buy a BMW. Like he's like, oh, you want a BMW? And then he'd be like, oh, okay. So he'd call like a dealership and it'd be like 2 a.m. and they'd go open the dealership
for Mike Tyson,
buy a BMW.
The champ. Fuck yeah, you're about to open the shit for the champ.
Buy him a fucking BMW and he's walking around with his tiger and his shirt off and money, dude.
Money, yeah, exactly.
Money equates to a lot of shit.
And then and it makes it makes it so much easier for like an agency like the CIA who's super powerful. But like you said, I mean they kind of have their weaknesses too because they try to infiltrate this guy Bob Lazar. They couldn't. Maybe he just gained too much steam, or they weren't used to at that time. It was like how big television was, and they didn't think like, oh, like the news is gonna get out there like super quick, like just how now like people don't understand how big the internet is. Because I think like some of the footage that the Pentagon had released, so it was like 3 key videos. A lot of those videos had already surfaced online. You remember it was the Green Day drummer or whatever. One of he was like the Green Day bass player, he became super into all of this, like all the conspiracy stuff. And he had like a website. Man, this is early 2000s, and he was like publishing stuff. And he had published one of those videos.
Yeah.
So people were putting it out there. And and maybe that kind of scared the CIA a little bit to where like, hey, wait, we need to get in front of this, and then try to control the narrative like you said, and so that takes me to my next question. Okay, like so these videos, the little tic tacs, or we see the little orbs, on top of Montana, fucking shutting down a nuclear bombs. What do you think they are? Like outside of it being another country. Okay, because that's the obvious answer, right? Like, oh, it's another country. Yeah. But
okay, so like to go out on a limb to say that what if they're just controlling it? Their narrative, like nobody was there, nobody was it wasn't on video or anything like that. It's just their word against our word.
Yeah.
But just to put all like assumption aside, maybe it was aliens.
Do you think so?
Maybe.
Do you think?
I mean, but like that should be fucking scary to them too. If they can shut down a nuclear bomb like that or mess with it in a certain way, then I think the government does have big eyes on it.
Yeah.
Like maybe the majority of their attention right now is on like bigger shit. Like we know we can go to war with like China or like India or stuff like that. Given it doesn't go to the to the nuclear stage, but we can destroy a fucking country like that.
More than
you
likely,
know,
for sure.
So now maybe they're just thinking bigger picture stuff. You know, stuff that's coming from different worlds.
Right.
That's what the whole point of them re-engineering, reverse engineering stuff that they find, like at like at Area 51. That's the whole point, is to figure out how it works and then use it against something else.
Right.
And I mean, I think that's the biggest secret, is that they're trying to reverse engineer this stuff to use it one day. And that's the reason why they don't want to tell everybody else.
Right.
They're actually scared, just like us.
Because they're supposedly the highest law of the land, right? The highest
and
power.
we expect them to protect us, because
Right.
that's a social contract between us and the government. Protect us from shit that, you know, that we can't protect ourselves from.
It's legit in the Constitution.
Yeah, and we'll pay taxes to live here. And that's basically what it is.
Right.
But now when you introduce a threat that nobody knows,
they're like, okay,
dick
now
about,
you're going to have to start giving some of that shit up.
now
right?
it's kind of like, okay, well, clear it up. What's the stuff that I'm seeing in the sky? What's the stuff that everybody around the world is seeing in the sky? And they don't have answers.
He's like, you really want to know?
Yeah.
Let me see what's on your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, relax.
Whoa, dude.
Hey.
Calm the fuck down. Never
Right?
mind.
Damn, dude. What kind of one-sided
never
relationship
mind.
is this? But yeah, and then even going back, the biggest spike of like UFO sightings, because supposedly UFOs have been around since like ancient history, right? Like you've seen some of the stuff on the History Channel. I remember being like 14 years old and staying up late watching the History Channel, and like the aliens built the pyramids, and I was like, at the time I was like,
shit.
oh fuck,
Yeah.
you know. And then remember, like there was like paintings of like UFOs, there was, like,
and stuff like
Leonardo
that.
da Vinci made a painting,
Yeah, and they're like pointing up like this.
yeah, and I'm like,
like,
okay,
okay,
dude,
yeah.
like, exactly, relax. But the sightings especially in the U.S. went up is when they started testing nuclear weapons. You know, I mean, it makes sense. What if they were kind of just watching us, you know, monitoring us, and then they saw like, oh shit, look at all this shit that's
like,
going
whoa,
on.
we're getting some major activity.
He's like, damn, because who's that? Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? That's his name, right? Yeah, I said it right.
The black scientist.
The black scientist, you know, supposedly he says like, oh, well, like why would a human be interested in an anthill when you're walking by? That's exactly what the aliens feel towards us.
Yeah.
So you're like, why would they be interested on us? But then as soon as the ants start fucking blowing each other up,
Like, oh
and
shit. Like if I see a group
shit.
of ants like fighting,
organizing borders,
Yeah.
and
that's when I'm
conquering.
like, let me get it. Let me see what the fuck you guys
see
do
what's
and start
going on.
picking them apart and stuff like that, you know? But it's true, because obviously they are light years ahead of us when it comes to technology. You
Allegedly.
know? Allegedly. But
Yeah.
I would think so, because, I mean, I don't know if we can fly to other
If they
planets.
ever
but
they are able to master like interstellar travel,
and, you know, like fucking stuff like that, you know, where they're defying gravity, then,
Right.
then of course they're probably light years ahead of us when it comes to technology. So, like, why even be interested in us? We're just a bunch
Exactly.
of monkeys that still fucking argue about race and, you know,
it's like
sexual
you guys-
identities and stuff. Like, dude, you guys are
guys-
going the wrong way, dude.
You guys still have
Wrong,
genders?
but- yeah,
Come on,
like,
man.
the
Get
fuck,
past
man,
that.
We're all the same.
We're all the
dude.
same. We're all
the
smooth.
same. Smooth, dude.
You guys still talk with your
No
mouths?
genitalia.
We communicate
Right?
with our fucking brains,
Yeah.
homie. Like, get your shit together, fucking. You know, that's true. Maybe.
But
I mean,
do you believe that they build like the pyramids and stuff like that? Like the pyramids and the Amazon and all that this stuff, you know?
okay, so like all the ancient alien stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard to say because really, what do we know about the pyramids? Because let's go back into history and like some of the times that Egypt was attacked. You know, for like Alexander the Great, for example, right? He had to build a giant library, and then I want to say it was Mark Antony or Julius Caesar, one of those, burned it down. So there was like tons of information that were just lost. And just keep in mind that Cleopatra lived closer to the invention of the cell phone than she did to the construction of the actual pyramids.
Yeah.
And then also there's a lot of speculation too, where maybe the way they carbon dated the pyramids were wrong. Maybe they're older than people
what they
thought
say.
they were, So I feel like there's a lot of speculation around the pyramids, and then they say that there were tombs. I guess supposedly what the whole theory of the tombs had only started in like the 1930s when the British were there.
We're
like,
exploring it and stuff like
they were
that.
like, oh, it's a tomb. But you don't even know. Like now people don't have access to it because the Egyptian government keeps you all out.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't even know what they were supposed to be.
Yeah,
right. And
true.
then there's one speculation. There's one theory out there. I know I told some people about it. They didn't like it. That it was the pyramids were initially power plants, because there's evidence that the Nile River ran along the big pyramid of Giza. Mm-hmm. And that there's evidence that the Egyptians had some type of technology and it's almost like a dam. You know how like the dam uses the water to provide energy. Mm-hmm. Same exact deal. So there's like erosion on one of the side of the pyramids that could only be created with like water. So
I mean, it could be. I think we don't give ourselves enough credit. Human beings don't give themselves enough credit. Mm-hmm. I think that we built the pyramids like as humans. Yeah. I think the Egyptian, mm-hmm. Civilization was around for thousands of years, mm-hmm. longer than the United States has been around. Same thing with the Roman Empire, and stuff like that. Yeah. I just think that we don't give ourselves enough credit.
The human civilization is way farther advanced in history than we initially thought, or that we were taught in school. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, we're barely finding out that dinosaurs had fucking feathers,
right?
Every
day is just like
it was common knowledge. It was common knowledge 10 years ago. Yeah, the dinosaurs were like reptiles,
scaly,
and now they're giant fucking birds.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so like they're changing shit all the fucking time. Yeah. I honestly think that we don't know as much as the human race. Mm-hmm. Than we think we know.
Yeah.
That there's so much lost history out there. And so that's where my theory on aliens, probably unpopular, but my theory is that aliens were once some subspecies of human that existed on Earth at one point or another. Mm-hmm. And it was maybe just a small population, maybe just a small group, that lived maybe alongside, a lot of other species. And then they just got so far in advance that they were actually able to go into space and travel through space.
Maybe.
And when you take into consideration Einstein's theory of relativity, is time is only relative to the planet that you're on. So like if the best example, who did the movie that did this the best was Interstellar. Mm-hmm. You remember when he travels away and he ages barely a few days, but then the Earth still ages like
super fast,
uh-huh. Right? Like he leaves, his daughter was like 9 years old, and he comes back and his daughter's like 90 something.
Yeah.
And then he barely aged, like maybe a couple years.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was like every 2 minutes is like every a year.
Exactly.
On Earth or something like
exactly.
that. Uh-huh.
When they go to that Gargantua planet, the one with the big old tidal waves. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking it's something like that, to where like that civilization or that kind of, it was like a certain race maybe, or like a subspecies of human mm-hmm. that took off. Yeah. Right, and then now that they're back, they're like, "Oh shit!" Now it's a brand new civilization.
Like, oh shit! Everybody's fucked up.
Yeah, and so they're kind of exactly. So they're kind of just
Tijuana of the fucking galaxy.
Maybe, man. Yeah, maybe they're looking at it like, Jesus Christ, man. Yeah. They're still using fossil fuels.
Yeah, uh-huh. They're still using plastic.
You guys are still using plastic? Come on, man.
Motherfuckers. Yeah,
they're still using wood to write. Look at these guys.
Look at these bums.
So, I mean, maybe that they got so far advanced that they took off, or maybe they are species from another planet, distant planet, mm-hmm. that they were able to advance far enough to travel to here and actually make contact, which maybe will be someday. I mean, fucking look what Elon Musk is doing. He's fucking building rocket ships to go to Mars.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe like they did advance far enough to where they took off and ventured the galaxy. Maybe they are from another galaxy. Maybe that's why we haven't been able to catch any civilizations in like the knowable universe, right?
Yeah.
Like from what we've seen.
Okay.
Or we are one of a kind and we're just all full of shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you like from what we know or what we've learned from space and from what other galaxies or how many other galaxies are out there, supposedly it's in the billions, you know, trillions of different galaxies, planets, stars, solar systems, and stuff like that. For us to be like, oh, God only made us, God, you know,
quote unquote,
or the creator of everything only made us special enough to carry life.
Yeah.
You know, in the billions of trillions, bajillions of fucking solar systems that are out there and planets that are out there. There's billions of them.
Right.
You can't even comprehend it. So for us to say like, oh, we're one of a kind.
We're special.
We're special. Yeah. This is it. And you know, I feel like that's the most closed-minded way that we can think when it comes to everything else in our issues.
The grand scope of things.
The grand scope of things for us to be like, oh, it's just us. You know, we're the only special ones, you know. But I do believe that there is other fucking extraterrestrial life out there, you know, aliens, and maybe they don't age like we do. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the thing is, I don't doubt that there is definitely life out there, some form of life, right? Whether that's intelligent or non-intelligent. Remember that I think they found like microscopic
life, and then just the other day they came out with a picture on Mars that looked like it symbolized a doorway.
Oh yeah,
I did side of a mountain.
I did see that,
and it looked like it symbolized a doorway. And supposedly everybody's like, well, maybe there was life there thousands of hundreds of years ago. We just didn't know it. They killed each other off, or you know, something happened.
Well, that's another theory
climate
too.
That kind of just eroded everything at a certain time. And I do think that just life has a way of happening.
Right.
You know, we're gonna be here, but then 10,000 years from now, our sun's gonna age, and then it's gonna die out, and we're not here anymore.
So it's like every planet goes through like its cycle.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah.
I can see that. And then
so who's to say like the aliens that we see here, their fucking planets going through that cycle, and they're just trying to look for
something else,
a way out.
Yeah.
You know, and who's to say 35 million years from now, when our sun's dying out, we're not doing the same.
Right. And that's another theory that I have. It's like, okay, I do believe aliens exist, but whether or not they're able to communicate and perceive time and space the same way we perceive time and space, maybe that's why like the communication thing hasn't been able to happen. You know, it's not like it's maybe the way they use matter is completely different from the way we use matter. You know, like look at what's going on with artificial intelligence. You know, what if they're an artificial intelligent, right? You know, like what if those drones, they say those drones are small enough, you know, that it doesn't look like a person's in there. Like, what if it is? What if it's just a fucking drone?
Just a machine?
Just a machine.
And then flown from someone else? And
flown from somewhere else crazy.
Yeah.
You know, that's connected through like some form of like intergalactic internet, you know, that that we don't know.
Or, get this. What a lot of speculation, I've heard of a lot of stories where people say like, oh, we saw a UFO, but it came out of the water, came out of the ocean.
And that's what a lot of these videos, a lot of those unidentified
like
objects.
We've seen it under the sea, but maybe it's just, like what if there's a fucking crazy ass civilization?
It's a whole nother space underwater, man.
We haven't fucking ventured out into the ocean. We've only explored like 10% of it. Probably like 5%, 7%, something like that. The ocean's so deep, we don't even have the means of getting down there. So like, who's to say that it's not coming from the ground beneath us?
Right. People saw the water and said, fuck
Boom.
that.
We're
going up there, dude.
We're going up there.
Up there, down there.
Fuck it's dark down there. You can't see nothing.
It's way too dark down there, dude.
It's way too dark.
There's too much pressure. My brain collapses on itself.
It just hurts going down there.
It just hurts.
It's probably better up there.
It's easier just to build something that explodes and pushes us
up
from the earth.
Even though we cannot breathe up there either.
So much easier
my chances up there.
Take my chances.
Yeah. Who's to say, man?
Would you go to Mars?
Cusp of this.
Would you go to
Mars? I wouldn't go to Mars.
No?
Nah. For what?
That's
just
true.
like just to get there and die? Like
it is. I think they do say because it's like supposedly it's like a 7-month trip to get there, and then once you get there, it's like a one way deal. Like you ain't coming back. Cool.
Yeah, no. Like Matt Damien said, bravery, favor, or what is it? Fucking.
How you like them apples?
No, he doesn't say that. He
That's
says,
Matt Damon.
He says, fortune favors the brave. So like,
and his
the people
little
that are brave,
fucking
the people that
crypto
are
commercial.
the people that are brave enough to go to fucking Mars for the first time, you know,
Yeah.
we haven't even gone to the moon, and now we're talking about like, let's go to Mars. Oh no, we haven't gone to the moon in
It's
quite a
been
while.
like 30 years.
It's been
something like that.
it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
By this time, I'd think that we would have buildings on the moon and stuff like that.
That's
or some
true.
Shit.
If we were to advance that far,
Then I would trust the government's
Yeah.
like, let's go to Mars. I'll go to
Yeah.
fucking Mars. But you guys haven't even colonized the moon yet,
dude,
suckers.
put a fucking hotel.
Yeah,
up
put
there,
a
man.
motel or a space station on the moon.
Something,
then, okay,
right? Something
you
that
guys
shows
got
me
yourself
some progress.
credibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's people that are just dumb enough to be like, I'll do it. And they
Right.
go out there and die. And then,
For the good of mankind.
For the good of mankind, I'm going to go to a planet that's dead and there's nothing.
Nothing's
We're
fucking
going to figure
desert.
it out on the way there and then die. And then,
and then by the time Earth kind of figures it out,
Yeah.
like, oh, we reversed global warming.
We really didn't need to spend this much money on this mission. And
Everything's
then-
cool here now.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
we figured it out, but
Yeah.
like I really don't see a point in going to Mars. You know, it's like visiting a dead, like visiting a dead planet basically.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing there that we can resource.
Yeah.
As far as I know, you know, I don't know. Maybe they
Yeah.
know some shit that we
But
don't.
until we find oil, man.
Yeah.
Once we find
if
oil,
we can
like,
figure
oh.
out the gas issue,
Yeah.
then if they go to fucking Mars, like, oh, we're gonna bring back free gas for life.
Oh
Let's
shit!
fucking
Get your ass up there,
dude.
go.
You know? But other than that, like, if we really don't see any other benefit for mankind, which I
Right.
could possibly see, you know, maybe there's something in the soil underground that they find, but
Some weird.
but
yeah.
you won't know until you get there.
We can go on and on, endless possibilities of
Yeah.
space, but this was fun, man.
It was fun.
This
Yeah.
was cool.
stuff.
I think we'll go ahead and end it there. That's a good spot to end it. Hopefully the aliens didn't infiltrate us.
I know.
We're
Protection, kids.
smart guys. We're smart.
Smart
Exactly.
dudes.
Thanks for coming by, man.
No problem, man.
All right,
Later.
guys. If you guys want to join in the conversation, sound off in the comments. See what you tell us what you guys think. What kind of theories
Comment
that you
below.
guys have?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you guys like videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys all in the next video. Thanks, everybody. Bye.